Alright, good morning. It's August 10th, Monday. Moon's at 6%. So I'll be taking it somewhat easy today, just looking for patterns, looking for continuations from next week. It is Monday, so try not to be too excited unless something sets up extra nice. So just going over notes from Friday, we had a U.S. consumer grocery stock as the main runner at a pre-market flag 0.19 to 0.37, open to the first bounce from 0.30 to 0.45, and then one backside blue line pull, and then followed by two red line pulls, and then a slow climb to 0.37, 0.54, so pretty big move. Had a 3-month bounce, third day surge with the U.S. or China bio. What was that? Looks like a recent reverse split. Constant. So one red backside followed by big fade. Next is China internet consumer. 3 times VWAP polls on Friday. So still looking for those Chinese backside VWAP polls. And then lastly, we had a day 2 US bio. So to me it looks mostly like US bios, potential US consumer, and still the China trend continuing on. So yeah, let's see what we got this morning. Looks like we had a big after hours runner here Friday on WWR. It's kind of a tough call to see where it would pull to potentially. Well, this is a day 2. I haven't noticed day 2s being in play for these yet. So just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, macros, I think the Iran thing is continuing on. No major changes there, so I'm not expecting anything to be different in the macro sense. And there's the big jobs loss, or was it? Yeah, jobs loss claim for the year or the month, and it missed their estimate. So I don't think that'll affect small cap too much, but it might affect the macro somehow. Looks like a third day surge set up on GAUZ. Okay, so not much there. This is China again. Yeah, it's Monday, so just trying to keep in mind to take it easy. Only A plus trades. It's better to have a $0 day than a negative red day. Sometimes $0 days are great. Still some big moves on China. Another one, STKH. Looks like a recent reverse split. Huge volume pre-market. Just something to watch. It's kind of hard to say where they're going this morning. Check it for dilution real quick. STKH. Oh, it was Israel. I thought it was China. Okay, so Israel consumer defensive. $3.75 at warrants. $2 warrants. So I think Israel's at least a bit less dilutive for the most part than the crazy China ones. Let's see, STKH, I thought. Yeah, got it on my Israel watch list. Okay, so I'm just gonna look through my Israel list and see if any others are moving. It's just a random one. Yeah, nothing else on my list moving, although we did have a big runner last week, WLDS, Israel. So not too exciting, but definitely something to keep in mind, to watch. It really seems like this year, I don't know, I could be wrong, I'd like to hear from other traders if they're out there, but it doesn't seem like we get a lot of multi-days these days. I know there was a streak of a couple, but it seems like most have just been pretty rapid faders. Like just kind of the theme throughout the year. Lots of bottom bouncers. I think it just speaks to kind of the general conditions within the US. A lot of the consumer spending has gone down and people are feeling more pinched these days. Groceries are high, gas is high. So I don't know if small cap companies have been feeling the pressure as well. And then also China's been just ripping pretty much the entire time. Alright, so really not much action on my list. Asian sector watch list. Interesting move. Got slammed. That did happen pre-market. OFAL is Hong Kong Engineering Industrials cash positive. Barely any dilution. Which is interesting because I might assume that this dump was dilution. Since it's not, this could be something that reclaims some of this dip here, although again we are near all-time lows. Seems to be a theme this year. Oh, recent reverse split. It has a 12 catalyst. But this 54 here is all-time low, and this pump here is 5 mil, so that could be the pump for the day, or it could bring in some more volume later, but I don't think I'd be comfortable trading it unless we get back up to the 70s, potentially a run, and then maybe a nice pull to the 72 area and get another follow through. But down here, not comfortable with because there's no supports. Next support is like 0, basically. So we'll just kind of watch it. Recent reverse split pump on NAMI. Looks like HKIT got one of those spikes and dips, just like we saw with OFAL. So HKIT is China Software Tech, cash positive, warrants at 0. So potentially more dilutive, but it might move similarly to OFAL. So we'll keep an eye on it. If anyone can tell me why the Asian stocks have been running this entire time, so basically since the Iran thing started, that would be interesting to hear your theory. I know emerging markets are doing really good right now. For some reason, I don't know if the US, because the US is weak, people are looking for alternatives. I'm not sure. I mean, I know the US is weak based on all the data that's coming out. Weaker than usual, I just don't know how weak. catastrophic. I'm not sure. So yeah, really not much action anywhere so far, at least for the multi-days. We'll see if we have any day ones setting up. Check the scan. Hertz Enterprises was a runner a couple days ago. The rental car, but I think they're a bigger cap. HTZ 174, or market cap 773, float 174. So yeah, a little big for me. The cash flow positive. Somehow got a massive run, like 20 mil on the bigger candles, or the bigger volume bars. So interesting stock to watch. HUIZ is nothing. So I got some action on Vivs, barely though, a small volume. Actually, never mind, not much at all. But it looks like a potential sit up here at 34. Looks somewhat appealing. What is Vivs? US Bio. So yeah, we did have day 2 US Bios. With the catalyst. No catalyst here. So looking for potential squeeze here based on last week, and then catching a backside. Check unusual volume. Let's see, you got WWR, HCWC. Not sure how the day twos are gonna behave, so I'll take a look later today, but nothing to add to the list right now. Yeah, pretty low volume all around. Check a couple more tickers. What is this? 10 mil JWEL looks Chinese potentially. It is China Internet Consumer. Also severe bottom bouncer. So bounce off 147, squeeze after hours, squeeze pre-market, if you can call it a squeeze, kind of, yeah. Okay, so mill. That's pretty high for me here. I think we're all the way up in near 3 right now. I'll get 240. It's just so high. Chicken dilution. Oh yeah, I already have it pulled up. Cash positive. 2 shelves, restricted shelves. That's it. Not surprisingly, not a lot of dilution. So if we look at the year, so 3 is like a yearly high at $3, and we're already at $6.24. So if yeah, we're all the way up here. So that's very extended. Three-year highs at 560, so very, very extended. But we'll see how it plays out. interesting. So AUD is US software. Cash positive. Warrants at 236. Warrants at not registered. Okay. So pretty safe for the most part, dilution wise. 6 mil float. So last week we had a lot of US medical devices. US bio. So yeah, let's see much about this one. So potentially looking at a lower support. And mostly just to see what it does today. You got about 9 minutes until market open. STKT. Weird. Bottom bouncer again. Extended. Where are we? So we went up to 397. We're kind of hanging out around 244 right now. Well, not even on the chart. We're like off the 6-month chart. So hyper extension. I bet shorts are looking at this pretty heavily right now because it's so high up there, which could make for good short squeezes. Okay, so US computer tech hardware. Warrants are 140s. With a catalyst, partners with something. Barcode scanners, contactless readers, mobile data capture. Okay, so first thing I think I've seen with an actual catalyst. is, I'm pretty sure this is also China, yep. Okay, so still volume coming in on China. Still seems to be the most favored this morning as far as pre-market volume. Is extended. Yeah, well, it was extended. Now we're back at the 240s. This is where I put my first support. ZGYL cash flow. Shelf that's restricted. Surprisingly little dilution as well, so that's good. I guess maybe everybody ran out of their warrants and stuff, trying to make money during the squeeze. I don't know. Okay, 4 minutes. XHLD. Some volume. US comms. Not super interesting. AUUD. Big volume on US industrials, also another bottom bouncer. HUDI. China, again, steel, basic materials, cash positive, little dilution. So lots of Chinese on the radar again. Looks like we got a news alert on fiscal. Okay, so I think that's the list. Very Huddy, SLN, we got. Super high. Okay, so this is the list. Most of these are just watching. China consumer. Yeah, what? So China internet consumer. So this one. This is a one that ran Friday. Chinese consumer or Chinese internet. Huddy. Looks interesting. HKit. GAUZ I can let go of. Could do a 3rd-day search. They usually do. But it's just I haven't taken one yet. they're in play, I'll consider more, but not right now. So that's it. Okay, 20 seconds till the market opens. Consider this one. This is like a backside. Okay, yeah. Looks like it's gonna be halty. S&P's up, NASDAQ down, Russell down, Golden Dragon down on the open. Something going on here. Theme, US, basic materials, chemicals, safe dilution wise. What is happening? So almost a mil volume. It's kind of a multi-day light volume. Just keep an eye on it. Theme, potential pull. And bounce off. Probably the red line here, so like 190s. another U.S. Chemicals, Safex. Interesting. So we got Safex and Theme, U.S. Chemicals. Looks like it could do a VWAP bounce. Which means there's good buyers, good upward momentum. Yeah, it looks like it's flinging off that VWAP there. Check everybody else real quick. STKT, gonna move off of STKH. I believe that was the Israel. So Theme and Safex, U.S. Chemicals. So potentially, if I see a Theme moving higher, like a lot higher, you might expect Safex to push higher as well. So yeah, got that nice VWAP bounce. Pretty quick move. Large volume. They're actually under a mil, so somewhat light. Decent bounce on the upper level support on AUD. U.S. Airlines. I do not like trading airlines companies. I'm just going to ignore it. So we're looking at Theme. Crack into the 190s could be. Looks like we got a halt on this one, STKT. Pretty big volume. Still super high. Nice push on STKH. Really nice volume here. Actually still under a mil, looks like a lot, but 788. K and up in the fours, so. little push on HKIT. This one wants to break through. Theme. Let's see, we want that guy a little lower. SafeX. Curling, decent entry around the 44 cent area. STKT is still pushing on good volume, still sub mil. Looks like theme just broke through, so we wanted to get to the lower 190s for a first attempt. Looks like a nice 127 here off that green line. Jewel just got volume over a mil. That's still pretty high up there. First pull on STKH happening now. It's trying to bounce off too, but usually the whole dollar never holds. And at least get a snap through to the lower 90 section. Looking at that kind of blue line area. So it looks like it bounced off 194. Didn't quite get to my 193, 92 area. I was kind of hoping it would at least sort of touch like 192 to 188. But it looks like we got that bounce a little high. So good to see, which might mean STKH, or what's the other? SafeX? Yeah, potentially could get a bounce on SafeX just based on that. Pretty small range here though. Still not much action on anything from last week. Looks like we got a halt down on STKH. So big move, almost double. This thing is just hanging out. Is 4-5? Did it halt? No. CFX. Super small range. It's not really moving. It's like overall a pretty quiet day. Pretty quiet open. Some volume coming in. UAVS, I believe, is Israel. Day 2. Nothing crazy. Let's see on this one, STKH. Decent VWAP pull there at 460. It's a weird looking chart. I guess it's just continuously halting. Lots of buys right here at 169 or 167. So it looks like it's going to halt up. Okay, so we got that low 90 area off that blue line. But the next support would be kind of the high 170s. Could bounce off the green line, but I'd like to see it kind of pull towards a more substantial support. Since it is already on a multi-day. Looks like AUUD likes that 120 area, which we drew a longer term support. It's a pretty decent bounce there off the support. Could maybe form a base, then move up a little bit later. So we're only at 6:58 a.m. So it looks like a kind of a decent base, and then might get a move to VWAP. Potentially off this base. Might want to see it kind of test 120s again. Nice snap off 186. There's still buyers on FEME. All the volume is retreating a little bit. But could potentially see a snap down to the lower 170s. Potential double bottom here. But since it's Monday, yeah, it's kind of tempting. Pretty low volume. I mean, it's 200K, so it's something. Just gonna watch it. It's not an A plus, but it looks like it could bounce off this support. But yeah, I think ideally I'd like to see it crack through. Give me more conviction. Some nice bounce off that green line. 186 all the way up in the 190s. Could push through 2, hopefully hit VWAP. Yeah, just jump through 2. Like I see 210 then 220. It's a pretty interesting spot to bounce off of right at that green line. makes sense. This would be like a 50-50 trade for me if I did enter. I just don't like that it gets snap. Pretty good push already. So yeah, there's that push. 120, 130 off that double bottom. Usually off these double bottoms, you get a bigger move. So yeah, a good 10-cent trade off that 120 area. So it looks like it wants to form a base here and then potentially break through, or otherwise fail the support here and crack. That's where I want to get it. So what happened here? Still just halting. Yeah, I'm not going to touch that. Too halty. Potential reversal. Massive volume. That's why it's halting so much. What was it, SKT again? US Computer Tech. It's kind of surprising US stock is halting so much. So this just needs a burst of volume to get through. I think it's just going to be kind of waiting around in this area until it gets a big burst of volume or it cracks through to the lower, maybe like mid ones area and gets a shorts covering, kind of a snap back up the upside. That's what I'd wait for. Looks like a support here, 190, or a decent pull, and then potentially a push to VWAP. If it does get volume. Okay, so that 44-cent trade would have worked, but a little choppy and low volume, but it did climb. Pretty small trade, but it did work. Yeah, so really quiet. See a pretty low volume all around the small cap today. I'm not sure of the reason. See, it looks like it's kind of coming back down on AUUD to that 120 support area. So creating a range in here. Ranges are still 50-50 to me. Either they're going to snap down or that they could break out. So like a 50-50 trade would be another entry, like low 120s, and then kind of bet on a breakout. But I don't really have any conviction or reason to bet on a breakout right now because it's not within a sector trend. the volume is not very convincing. And the only thing to work with is the pre-market structure here, which I believe that's not super extended. But it's just hard for me to have conviction on this one today. Unless it did like a technical move, like a snap down. But if it does kind of hang out here and then move up at a certain time, that'll be something to keep in mind for tomorrow for US Tech. But for now, I'm just waiting on maybe a technical single. HKIT off that scoop pre-market. Looks like we're getting a interesting structure, but still very low volume. Under 10,000 per bar. But cool looking double bottom type pattern. Another double bottom on ZJYL. Looks like it could. It's looking at VWAP right now. But it's still sub 100K volume. Yeah, I think overall best move today was this one off the green line here, which is FEAM, FEAM. It is US Specialty Chemicals Basic Materials. So had a decent backside move off the green line. And then its brother would be SafeX. So kind of a similar pattern, just tighter range. Okay. Yeah, otherwise quiet morning other than STKH here. So let me check my Israel list to make sure nothing else decided to run. Nothing else. So yeah, overall quiet. Super halty, SCKT. Pretty choppy action. Yeah, kind of an underwhelming morning so far. I wouldn't put out of the question maybe some midday runners if this continues to set up against a breakout or something like that. And then we'll be looking at more middays tomorrow based on which one to run. But it's good to see kind of a base forming. Usually it's more up and down, but it's an interesting structure. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll probably be sitting around longer just to see if anything does crack through or set up the way I'd like. And I can update that in the comments or in the description if I do take any trades, but for now I'm just gonna close this down and let you go. So yeah, no trades for the day so far. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great Monday.